Hey there, welcome back. This is Caslin from Always Acting Up Podcast and blog. We are doing the Roadmap series to start your career in the entertainment industry. So we're talking all about getting more auditions, where to start, where to go, and how do you navigate this business. As always, there really are no exact steps, so these are just going to be guidelines of things that have been helpful for me. Today, I really want to talk about some of the tools I use as an actor, meaning casting websites, as well as me being a freelancer, things that have made my life a little bit easier. But before we do that, I have a little question for you guys. Let me know in the comment section below which casting website you use the most, and do you find it to be worth the cost? I think we all know as actors, it's actually very expensive. It's an investment in your career, and these things cost money. So which one is your favorite? Where do you get the most auditions, and do you find it worth it? And just as a quick reminder, all of these videos can also be found on my blog, which you can visit at caslinrose.com/blog. That is C-A-S, as in Sam, L-I-N, Rose, ROSE.com/blog. There you'll find more videos and blogs on your career, your lifestyle, things to help you succeed as an actor. Okay, let's go ahead and get into this, and I'm going to talk about first, what is backstage.com and is it legit? So let's go over to the Backstage page right now. Okay, yay. So we are here. This is backstage.com. This is what it looks like when you create a profile. So it's important to note that you can create a profile just to sort of see what it's like, browse for auditions without actually paying for it first. So if you're not sure, I would highly suggest going to backstage.com, browsing the website, and kind of taking a peek at some of what it has to offer. I'll be honest, Backstage is actually one of my favorite casting websites because I find that there's so much additional information that help you towards your career. So let's just go through this really quickly. Obviously, you have casting calls, and well, you can go ahead and create a filter for your type. So what I would do, goodness gracious, I select your gender, your location. Do you want to work for pay, no pay? Age range, distance you want to travel. I would highly suggest clicking a shorter distance, especially because a lot of times these jobs aren't going to be paying for your travel and compensation. That may end up being on you. So this here is really important to consider how much you're willing to travel and spend, especially now that gas is, an arm and a leg. Go ahead, fill all your information in, search, and you will get a sample of what the auditions are like. I just want to point out really quickly, for Backstage, you will see shows like Outer Banks, but keep in mind that it's going to be generally for background work. So yes, let's move on. We see casting calls here. Find talent, which I actually think is really, really cool. You can go on here and browse other people's profiles. So let's do this because I think it is super, super fun. I'm going to pick all the actors that look just like me, just to see what it's like out there. Female, great, that looks good. Good location. Okay, we'll just look at all the females that look like me. Actually, more filters. I know this is not what we came on here to do, but I think it's a really cool perk, and I think that it's important to know what everybody else is doing and looks like. Not to compare yourself, but just to have an idea to see if you're on the right track and what other people are doing. So apply, and now we're just gonna briefly do this because I don't have permission to show everybody's face, but boom, 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 and you can kind of see what everybody looks like. Ooh, look at these gorgeous people. All right, moving on. Backstage, this is gonna be finding jobs, finding talent for actors, voiceover. I think there's a lot of opportunities of jobs on here for content creators, models. It's a casting website essentially. So a lot of people are going to have opportunities to look for work. Also, what I really like, I think Backstage, I'm not gonna lie, I think it's fantastic in terms of getting information and seeing advice, casting news, industry news, awards. You're kind of gonna get all of the information here. And of course, don't forget, you can also find this information on my blog, CaslinRose.com. Okay, also more, let's see what the more section is. You have community, audition catalogs, monologues, we'll talk about that later, and resources, which I honestly can't remember what it is. Okay, so it's basically sort of a browser to kind of find acting classes, headshot photographers, schools, etc., etc., etc. So essentially, backstage.com is a casting website where actors can go to find different types of auditions, resources, monologues, all different types of things. So is backstage.com free? The answer is no. And that is an answer that is going to be applied to any of the casting websites that you see. Do you have to pay to audition? No, you should not, and you should never pay to audition. However, a lot of these platforms where they host the auditions, you will have to pay anywhere from I don't know why I want to say $7, but usually $15 to $20, $25. So think about it that way in terms of an investment in your career. Alrighty, now we are going to head back to my blog because look, I'm shameless. I'm an actress. I have to promote myself all the time. And so we're going to head to my blog real fast. Again, it's CaslinRose.com/blog. This one in particular is the backstage.com review. And is it legit? I also want to point out that if you are thinking about voices.com, I have already created an entire page on whether voices.com is legit. It's expensive. It's a commitment, but go ahead and read that blog to see if it's something you want to do. All right, now moving on. Let's talk about auditions. Do you actually get auditions? Okay, short answer is yes. As I mentioned earlier, there are tons of auditions for models, actors, all ages, all shapes, all sizes. You have podcast auditions on there. You have auditions for live events if you're an MC, trade show, etc., etc., etc. Now, are you going to be able to audition to be the lead in a Disney Channel series? No, it's not going to be on one of these casting platforms. Those auditions are typically going to go to your management and your agency and essentially your team. So these auditions that you're going to find on Backstage are typically for lower and smaller budget projects that don't have a large budget to hire a casting director. They're looking for talent on their own, and they're all going to be non-union. So keep that in mind. You're likely not going to find any type of union work on these websites. Now, I think it's important to mention that when I was living in LA, I pretty much never used backstage.com. That's not saying it's not good, it wasn't worth it. It's just that some of the other casting websites like Actors Access, Casting Networks, sort of dominated the game. And I really had to consider my budget and which ones were the most popular and where I was going to get the most bang for your buck. However, I need to make it known that it's possible it could be just as good in LA. I just didn't know about it. Now that I live in a smaller market, we're just going to say regional. Now I live here in Las Vegas. And when I moved here, I was really worried and really concerned about not having opportunities. Where am I going to find auditions? And so I went to backstage.com. And I have to say, for me and my experience, it was worth it 100%. I just never considered living in LA, trying backstage.com for auditions. However, I was seeing a lot of the same auditions that were posted on Actors Access and LA Casting on Backstage. And also some of the local filmmakers and local feature films, web series, even some smaller commercials that were local specifically to Las Vegas, I found all on backstage.com. And the next thing you need to consider is the cost. Like I mentioned, unfortunately, none of them are free. So with that being said, Backstage does have 3 separate plans. So if you're not sure if you really want to make the commitment, you can totally just try it out for a month. It's going to be $24. If things are working out well, you're like, let me try this a little bit longer. They have a 6-month plan at $100. Or If this is something that you think you're really gonna wanna make a commitment to, you just wanna go for it, browse auditions, submit to auditions, then you may as well go ahead and pay the yearly plan, that's not correct. I have to fix that. 1 second. Okay, scratch that last part. I did not do the math correctly. So the yearly is $199.95. And the 6 months is actually $119.94. So I will have to go back and fix this blog. My bad. So is it worth it? Well, it really all depends on how much you plan on submitting, how much auditions you think you're going to be getting, and will the auditions that you eventually book pay for the website? A lot of the jobs are anywhere, because it's non-union, anywhere from $75 and up. So let's say you get the yearly subscription and you book, I don't know, maybe like 4 jobs in a year. Brand ambassador work, trade shows, whatever the case it is. It's going to pay for your membership just with those couple jobs. So it may be worth it. And also, let's consider sites like this. If you're just beginning your career, you don't have a lot of footage, this is a great place to find those auditions, practice auditioning, and get the footage that you need to eventually get representation, which is free, and get those bigger paying jobs. Okay, let's say, for example, you are interested, you want to do this, you are ready to go, this is something you want to do. Is it user-friendly? Am I going to be able to figure out how to work this website? I am going to say yes. With any casting website, with anything new, there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve. However, I thought it was really easy to set up a profile, and I'm going to show you guys right here. My profile's not the most up to date. I did just recently add my new pictures on here, so don't judge it too harshly, but I think it's really cool, all of the options that you do have on backstage.com just to set up a profile in general. So let's go check out that really quick. Alrighty, so here we are on my profile. If you don't have a website, I would actually suggest creating a profile on here or any of the casting websites, just so you can kind of have a place to showcase all of your work, because you can add all of your headshots on here. Don't worry, we'll definitely talk about headshots in one of these videos, but if you don't have professional headshots, just get some photos up here that clearly show your face. Maybe a body shot, and then of course it looks your age range. It gives you the options for your special skills. Credits, I'm lazy, I'm not even gonna lie. You should totally put your credits in here, but I didn't want to do that, and don't listen to me on that part. Your education, your training, license, passport, etc. And then most importantly, your social media and how people can get a hold of you. If a local production is casting and they are doing the talent search options, having this information on your profile is so important, because they're going to be searching where we searched earlier, and they're going to message you directly. So it's kind of a benefit to have a profile at least set up. And the good thing is, just having it set up without paying or having a subscription still allows them to search for you, because I have absolutely taken breaks where I'm not paying for my account, and I've still gotten messages from directors or I guess whoever's casting those projects, still messaging me, interested in having me come in and audition, just because I had a profile set up on backstage.com. So for the most part, I do feel like it is a very user-friendly site, as long as you're going to take a little bit of time and put the effort into learning. Alrighty. Okay, before I move on to the next subject, in terms of your profile, if you don't have anything to show yet, I would highly suggest setting up your camera and coming on Backstage or wherever else, and let's see, where is it? Going to acting monologues, select that option, and the genre, category, etc. Finding a monologue that you want to do, just because you don't have enough footage yet, but putting a monologue on tape just so people can look, hear, see you perform, I think is incredibly beneficial while you're in the process of building your reel. So come on here, do a monologue. They have a ton for you to choose from, of course. because it's a monologue, there's nobody else acting in it, you have the ability to make adjustments and changes. And remember, it's your monologue. Nobody knows the next lines but you. So feel free to play with it and make it how you want it. All right, let's go on to the next topic. So the next burning question is backstage.com legit? Another short answer, yes, it is legit. And I do want to warn you that anybody can go on these websites and create a casting. I have created casting notices for my web series back in the day and even for my podcast for guests. So always use your best judgment regardless of where you find these auditions, because anybody can make them. So if something still doesn't feel right, just don't go. Just don't do it. And I would also highly suggest reading this right here, Spotting Red Flags, as well as I had a really interesting story about a prank call or scam call, human trafficking. I don't know what it was. I don't know. It was insane. It was crazy. And I've had a couple of these experiences. So trust your gut, trust your red flags, pay attention to those red flags, and be on the lookout. But to answer the question, is backstage.com legit? Yes, it is legit. In fact, they've actually been around for decades at this point. And I used to go to the library every week or every other week when it was still in paper form to browse through all of the castings. That's how old I guess I am. And Backstage is. At the time, it was just Backstage. Now, obviously, it's backstage.com. But Backstage has been around for a long time. And I feel like they used to have a little bit more theater and live production. Now they have everything. So if you're looking for voiceovers, to be a guest on a podcast, to have a podcast, for print work, influencers, content creators, you name it, it's all going to be here on backstage.com. And lastly here, in conclusion of, is backstage.com legit? Is it worth it? That question really is all up to you. Again, acting is very difficult to break into. It does take commitment and it is an investment. So how much are you willing to put into your career now that we know backstage.com is a legit website for individuals who are going to get their hustle on, who are going to be submitting themselves, who really want to gain new footage, experience, meet new people? It's all up to you. Okay. Well, I think it's time to wrap it up here. If you guys have any questions or you're still unsure about the legitimacy, or maybe you have a general question about another casting website, go ahead and leave it in the comment section below. I'll get to that as well as creating another video. You guys make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to subscribe and then click that bell notification, that means that every time I create a new video and it's posted and published, you're going to get a notification that there is a new video available. And of course, any type of love commenting helps the algorithm and helps me help you. All right. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you on set.